next thing Romo really talks about is how do you detect bad strategy? And let me tell you, this is going to challenge a lot of people. It's going to challenge a lot of people who have been tasked with making strategies, but maybe not view themselves as strategists, or maybe not have had the training and the approaches that you need to make a good strategy. And it's going to challenge folks who are working at places that this resonates with to think about whether their strategy is actually bad or not. And whether they need to be doing something better with it. So I will cut to the chase because I think it's one of the more challenging parts of the book. If you're not really up for that kind of self-reflection and growth, you probably will stop reading here. But here are the types of bad strategy and how you can tell if you have a bad strategy. One is fluff. The strategy is just fluffy. It's just kind of platitudes. Two, it doesn't solve the real problem. It solves maybe peripheral issues or issues that aren't the material issues, but it doesn't get to and solve the actual problem. The other is that it confuses objectives for strategy. So the way we talk about strategy in the course is that it's the logical narrative that ties your mission and vision, your goals and objectives, and your tactics together. Making the story that makes all those make sense is when you know you have a strategy. And basically, Rommel is saying here, if you just focus on that middle tier of things and have a ton of objectives with nothing that ties it together, then you really don't have a strategy at the end of the day. And from the StratThink perspective, we don't disagree at all because we teach it in the course. The other thing is unrealistic objectives. I don't think he says this directly in the book. I'd have to go back and check my notes, but some of this enters into that BHAG territory, that big, hairy, audacious goals territory, where the objectives are just not near to what you want to do. We will get to this topic later in future book reviews, but another strategy writer talks about diversifications and the low percentage shots that those tend to be. And that's where my mind tends to go when I read his thoughts on unrealistic objectives. And any one of those or any combination of those in your strategy is going to start tilting it, in Rommel's terminology, towards the bad strategy. And sorry if that calls anyone out. Sorry if that makes you think something about your organization. It just means that we need to get to work to improve it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've come up with something that you shouldn't be proud of or didn't reflect a lot of work or a lot of thought or a lot of effort, but there are points of improvement in it, and we can make those points of improvement.